So hi everybody, my name is Steve Brown. We're both from Grand Valley State University. Our mentor is Dr. Eric Snyder, and we are working on culverts in Cedar Creek. So the main project, well not our main project, but there's a big project going on in the creek right now, led by the Barry County Conservation District. They're removing a culvert and replacing it with a bridge at McCune Road, which is as close to the headwater of the creek as you can get, as close to the mouth of the creek as you can get, where it flows into Thornapple watershed. They put together this project. They're going to open up 22 miles of the creek for salmon and trout habitat and hopefully bring a little bit of money into the community. They brought together all these different agencies, DEQ, DNR, and Water Environmental, Grand Valley, and obviously Pierce Cedar Creek to get this done. So why are they doing it? Culverts are a problem throughout the state because Michigan is basically one big wetland. Culverts restrict the flow of rivers, which causes deposition of sediment upstream. As the water slows, as it reaches the culvert, it drops the sediment that it's carrying. As it goes through the culvert, it picks up speed. As it picks up speed, it gets out to the end of the culvert. It causes a lot of scour downstream because all that speed just picks up the sediment. Culverts also have issues with blockage. You can see in this picture here, they get a lot of debris in the front, a lot of large woody debris, which can cause further issues. And generally, they just cause a lot of habitat change. The solution to this, in this case especially, is that they're going to put in a bridge, which this is actually going to be just about identical to what they're going to be putting in. They restrict the flow a lot less, so there's not as many environmental issues. They have natural sediment transport, so you're not getting that deposition of sediment upstream or the scour downstream. They have fewer effects on the natural habitat. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking preliminary studies on macroinvertebrates and fish. So macroinvertebrates, they're great water quality indicators. They're very sensitive to pollution and sedimentation. My goodness. So when there's a lot of pollution and a lot of sedimentation, you're not going to find very macroinvertebrates. But when there's not any of these problems, you'll see a lot of macroinvertebrates, and you can kind of understand what's going on in the river. Macroinvertebrates are also an important link in the food chain. They take energy that's trapped in algae and leaves, and they can pass it up to the fish, which in the end, that's what people are looking for in their rivers. They want some fish. To sample macroinvertebrates, we use D-nets, which are shaped like a D, Cerber nets, the square ones down here, and we get our samples, take them back to the lab, and identify them. This is what our typical day looks like, looking through the microscope, and we had a couple of the macroinvertebrates that we found. It's a kind of mayfly and a type of stonefly. Like I said before, fish is what a lot of people want in their rivers. This is what the end goal is. Provides a source of income or provides a source of food. As far as our sampling goes, we start out with scouting, which normally involves Adam and I taking our rods and reels out to the river and having a little competition, catching fish. Once we determine that a stretch of river is good, that we can sample it, we'll get some good stuff. We take our backpack collective fishing units out, which is a pretty heavy backpack, but it's a little bit smaller than a car battery in it. It hooks up to an electrode, and it shocks a small area that's about the size of a laundry basket. You collect the fish, you net them, you put them in, well, we put them in the laundry basket, which is in a river rat float tube right here. Take them back to your site, nice spot to sit down, you measure them, identify them, and clip the fins. And the next day you go back and you resample, do the same thing over again. And because you clip the fins the day before, you can tell, first of all, where they're coming from. So if you clip the lower caudal, the lower tail fin, in the lower reach of the culvert, and the upper caudal, upper reach of the culvert, and you can tell if they're moving between the reaches, and you can also put it into an equation to estimate the population of the creek.
So, at the end of the day, everything is said. This is just pretty much a look at in the day of what we do. For those of you who have not gone out with us, this is what we look at pretty much all day. Up there in the lab, that's where our first crossing was at Cloverdale. It's just me and Nick with our backpacks, and we got Eric and Gina giving the nexus to catch the fish. And down there on the bottom left is us at our Broadway, South Broadway site. And that's our biggest covert, which doesn't look like a problem, but later on we'll show you how it might actually be quite a bit of problem, even though it doesn't look like it's restricting anything. And down there you see us measurement, talent up, Eric's doing his thing. Yeah, and, this is what really happens when you cook all those fins, you just get covered in fins, and it's not too bad, not too bad. And Nick's over here getting stuck in the mud. This is the one main problem that culverts cause, is all the sediment buildup. and we're trying to get insects here, and he's actually stuck. We can't actually get to where we need to get to. But when you get a good server net sample, this is what it looks like. You just line gravel, and probably in that sample there's like 200-300 insects easily in that full sample. And the biggest part of what we want to do is look at the fish. We like fish, and we don't like looking underneath this microscope all day. And this is just that diversity of fish that we actually see in the river. So you got your pickerel, your sunfish, your chubs, your daces, all that stuff. And then a nice brown trout right there. And so our 3 sites that we've done so far is Broadway, Cloverdale, and Delaware, the road stream crossings. And like I said before, South Broadway, known as a huge covert, downstream was amazing. We loved that stretch. We were catching fish left and right. It was almost 600 fish within 30-40 minute time. But when we went upstream, we only caught 60 fish within an 80 meter stretch with the same amount of time. So what Mary has described to us is ponding. So these coverts cause ponding upstream when the flow gets restricted. So it's flowing fast through it, and downstream you gain a lot of oxygen, and if you have really good sediment, it's great habitat for insects. But upstream you have too much water backing up. It's nothing but sand buildup. Macrovertebrates can't live there, so fish don't want to hang out there. So there's just not good fish. And the same thing we found at Cloverdale. We only got 60 fish in a whole 200-meter stretch. It was kind of sad, but when we realized what was going on, it's just a huge wetland complex. It's just really deep water with sand and muck, and it's just macrovertebrates don't want to be there, and fish don't want to be there if there's no food there. That's pretty much it. And then the downlink site, this is one of those times where we just went out fishing with scouting, and he was catching fish like crazy. I didn't catch the thing, but he was catching fish like crazy. And we're like, let's electrofish to see what's actually in here. And it's fairly consistent throughout. I mean, 194 downstream, 200 upstream is consistent, and we didn't get huge, like, this fish was upstream and this fish was downstream. We didn't find them, you needed either or. It was pretty consistent throughout, and there was large fish throughout. And this was the only stretch where we found just massive creek chubs. We were finding just rock bass that I've never seen before. And that means that it's not really affected stretch. I mean, this area has been able to build up a lot of energy. Macrovertebrates can live, and fish can grow to the size that they need to grow. So you can see how coverts affect 3 different regions on the stretch. So what we're going to be doing later on is actually looking at the habitat assessments. So we're going to be doing pebble counts and substrate counts. We're going to be looking at vegetation and wood packs, just to see if these areas actually can provide recruitment for fish. And then on top of that, if it has good substrate, macrovertebrates can live there. And if it's just sand, then our hypothesis and all of our assumptions are true, but we're not really there yet. And then we're going to be doing culvert specifications, which we actually started yesterday with Mary. We're looking at flow rates through them, depths on either side, how big the culvert is, and that'll give an indication of how these scouring and ponding effects really play a role in how big the culvert is and what's really going on. And we're going to continue doing macrovertebrate identification. Just a little bit of a drag, sorry, Eric, but we're getting done, and we'll be all right. And we're going to electrofish 2 more sites because we actually did code run yesterday. And that's it. A lot of thanks to just so many people because we've been working with everybody. I mean, everybody who's helped us along. Eric for being our mentor, being great. Mary for jumping on our project. Pearson Creek for allowing us to fish in stream. Sarah Nelson, who's pretty much the person who's running this whole project at the McCoon Road. She's just amazing at doing it. The Barry County Road Commission, I mean, can't really remove a covert without the road commission. Cassie and they came out plenty of times to help us. And Nathaniel Chase, Corey, Hannah, Laura, all of you, thanks for coming out on a day or two and just